are you playing in the play? Nice.
Our doors, so does the gentle flame bring us out. As the crackling cold air stops our breath, so does the radiant flame draw from us the world we need to give and to receive. I'd like to start with a poem by Rose. Hope has holes in its pockets. It leaves little crumb trails so that we, when anxious, can follow it. Hope's secret, it doesn't know the destination. It knows only that all roads begin with one foot in front of the other. I love this poem. I imagine hope as this generous, joyful being, baking cinnamon buns and sourdough bread. And everywhere they go, they scatter breadcrumbs like fairy dust. And isn't that what the world needs? A little more nourishment, a little more care, and a little more magic. So Mr. Rogers tells this story that his mother always would tell to him. She would always say, look for the helpers.
Why?
She would always remind him that when something scary happened in the world, or something catastrophic, something awful, she would always say, look for the helpers. Keep your eyes open for the helpers. Those are the ones that are scattering breadcrumbs and fairy dust. I invite you
Little Bear awoke one frosty morning and the world was covered in white.
Why is the world so white?
For this was her first winter and she had never seen snow. She walked through the forest, marveling at the sparkling white, but also feeling a little bit worried.
Where have all the colors gone?
She begins to wander through the forest, marveling at the white world. A luminous being of the forest emerged from the woods with a staff of golden orange leaves.
It was snow trees, so we remember the warm glow of fall and the burning sunset of an evening sky.
A snow tree.
Little Bear scratched her head and wondered what she was talking about. She decided to follow the being of the forest as she moved silently through the trees.
Come on, let's go. Come here.
They came among two small animals, quietly collecting purple stones.
It isn't much, but they sparkle in the light. Let's bring some of this beautiful purple color to decorate our tree.
They came upon two monkeys swinging from the bare branches. The monkeys were holding golden corn kernels collected from the fields in the summertime and glowing like the golden sun.
You want to fall?
Thank you, monkeys. I'll use these on the snow tree.
There was a loud roar coming from some bushes just down the path from the monkeys.
We have brought bright sprigs of red berries to remind us of the fruits and flowers of the summer and the fiery breath of dragons.
Thank you, dragons, for we will add these to the tree.
As Little Bear and the being of the forest continued to walk, Blue Jay swooped down to a branch just above Little Bear with a beak full of bright, brilliant blue feathers.
It's not much, but it is as blue as the summer sky and the rolling waters of the river. Thank you, Blue Jay. Would you like to venture with us through the forest to find the snow tree? Yes.
So Blue Jay joined the friends as they wandered through the snowy world. Soon a beautiful red fox poked its nose out from behind an evergreen tree.
I brought you the tufts of fur I use in my nest. Nature's finest and all the rich early toads of the ground beneath the snow.
Hold them up, so people can see them.
What a gorgeous gift, little fox. This will bring rich beauty to our tree. Would you like to venture to the tree with us?
Yeah.
The fox added the velvet fur to Little Bear's collection and joined them on their journey as they continued to walk through the sparkling white world. Suddenly, a panda bear dropped straight out of the tree and was thoughtfully munching on a big chew.
I brought bamboo to remind us of the green grass of spring and a new life after a long winter, but I think I ate most of it.
Okay. Yeah, well, there you go.
That's okay. We can add what you had to the snow tree.
Up ahead of the path, the friends saw a small, hunched figure slowly making his way through the woods, humming and humming as he went.
You should have what my thing is this.
Who talks?
Hello, young animals. Hello. I brought you some magical icicles from my magic shop. You can put these on your tree to remember the light from the sparkling north. And you, little Belle, you will guard the snow tree all winter long. Your black fur will remind us of the night's velvety darkness.
They were also aware of the presence of many magical creatures throughout the forest. Fairies, gnomes, elves, and sprites. The friends watched as Little Bear's basket began to shimmer and sparkle with forest magic.
Thank you to the magic forest folks for adding your light to our basket of colors.
But as they continued to walk, it was already getting dark.
Why is it so dark so soon? Where's the light going?
That's when they noticed a figure made up of many, many tiny pieces of darkness and cloaked in all black. These pieces of darkness were made of even tinier pieces that had been gathered floating through the forest this whole time. They were tardigrades that had slowly gathered together to become one dark being. That being was slowly moving between the trees. Every bit of light that ran was sucked up into the darkness of the moving figure.
It's the Nightbender!
The Nightbender was collecting all the light into his big black sack. The animals were scared and started making all their animal noises to try to scare away the Nightbender.
But look,
As the light from the forest was slowly sucked away, Little Bear saw that there were slowly emerging stars in the night sky. And as the world became so dark that she couldn't see her friends around her, a giant golden moon began to rise beyond the trees. The moon made a path of light. Where's our path of light? On the white snow, brilliant and sparkling. Little Bear and her friends look at the path of light. And slowly a figure emerged, clad in gold and sparkling colors, walking towards them on the path. The light of the moon shone directly into the clearing, just beyond where the friends were standing. And in the center of that clearing was an evergreen tree, with sparkling green boughs covered in glittering snow.
The animals brought their colorful offerings and began placing them on the tree. Even though the night was so deep and dark, they began to feel more light in their hearts. Slowly, they began to sing.
We invite you to join us as we sing our solstice song to bring a little more light and a little more magic into our dark. The words are in your order of service. There is always a light. We are ready to see it. There is always a light. When we are ready to be it. To see the light, to be the light, to raise our eyes in the dark of night, to climb this hill. Together we will. There is always a light. Singing in the dark. We are ready to see it. There is always a light in the dark. We are ready to be it. To see the light. Oh, do you remember the breadcrumbs?
Yeah.
And the fairy dust? Maybe. It was just my opening words. We were talking about hope that has holes in her pockets, in their pockets.
It's like, you said like fairy dust in the form of breadcrumbs.
Yeah, breadcrumbs that are like fairy dust because it's like magic. It's like how we nourish each other. So, in our story with the light bender who's still lighting our pathway, and the night bender who has separated into its various forms of tardigrades, the night bender seemed to be sucking hope up from the darkness. It didn't seem like they had breadcrumbs in their pockets. They weren't sprinkling magic fairy dust around the forest. But as we were crafting this story together, Marabie suggested that she ask the Nightbender, "Can I trust you?" Because we were trying to figure out how this Lightbender was going to get a star all the way up to the tree. We're talking about giving it to the Nightbender, and Marabie said, "How do I know I can trust the Nightbender?" And Ezra immediately said, "It's just science." Which was like the most brilliant answer. Because there is darkness, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's evil. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's scary. It's just what's happening, right? So it reminds me to be careful with my assumptions. Just because those tardigrades right here are cloaked in blackness and darkness, it does not necessarily mean they're evil. And it's our curiosity and our willingness to engage with things that are different from us and that are other that leads us to this deeper understanding, and it leads us to greater connection. Valerie Carr says, "You are a part of me that I do not yet know." She grew up with this knowing deep in her heart and in her bones, and she talks about it in the book See No Stranger, about this illusion of separateness. And she says, when we quiet the chatter in our heads through music or meditation or recitation or song, the boundaries begin to disappear. The bowl of our awareness, our separation, our separateness, that bowl breaks. And for a moment we taste the truth, sweet as nectar, that we are part of one another and joy rushes in. So there will always be darkness. And sometimes that darkness is indeed scary. Humans can be horribly cruel. People can be scary.
Darkness can be evil, just also so can the light. Wow.
And people can do awful things. And it can be devastating. And Mr. Rogers reminds us to look for the helpers. And it's actually a really important reminder that there always will be balance, that every single time when an atrocity happens, the helpers respond. And the good in humanity balances the horrors every time. And it's our choice to choose hope and to choose helping and to choose light. And then sometimes it turns out that the darkness isn't actually scary, and it's not quite as dark as we thought. There are those pinpricks of light. So even in dark times and in hard times and in scary times, we have each other. We make our own light. We bring color to the world, even in the deepest winter night.